The Pitchsider. Pitchside for every game.
Welcome back, football fans, to the season premiere of the Pitchsider Podcast, the podcast that brings you all the action, drama, and excitement from the world of football. I'm your host, Joe, and after a long summer of speculation, transfers, and pre-season drama, we're finally back where we belong, right in the thick of the action. This week, we're diving into some of the biggest stories from the opening weekend, breaking down standout performances, shocking results, and early season surprises. Whether you're celebrating a big win, scratching your head at a baffling decision, or just buzzing to have football back in your life, we've got you covered. So grab your jersey, settle in, and let's kick off the new season in style. So let's start with the Community Shield, which, if you didn't know, was at 4 o'clock yesterday. At the time of recording this, it is Sunday. The game, which was between Manchester United and Man City, the repeat of the FA Cup final, where United got a shock result against Man City. Man City did avenge their FA Cup defeat by Man United as Pep's side triumphed a 7-6 win on penalties after the Community Shield had finished level at Wembley. Bernardo Silva levelled it for the Blues in the final minute, but then gave City the first spot kick save by Onana to give United the advantage. However, Ederson saved Sanchez's effort before the veteran defender Johnny Evans fired it over, allowing Mikel Antonetti to secure the victory in the competition for the first time since 2019 in front of 78,416 fans. Garnacho thought he had given United a victory 9 minutes from the time when he can collectively precision at the end of a flowing move deep into the City's half, got done by Bruno Fernandes and drove the low shot into the bottom corner. Silva's initial bad temper responded to him was getting barged into Garnacho long after he had to move to earn the ball and himself a booking. The Portuguese next intervention was positive. A young Norwegian winger in Oscar Bob was spinning into space by the goal line. Silva was pulling onto a makeshift left back of Penaz as the far post, hardly the tallest. Silva had enough spring and intuition to climb above the Uruguayan and score the equaliser. So yeah, this game was good. Great to see, obviously, the players back in action. Been a long summer waiting for football to be back. Obviously, the Premier League and a lot of the big leagues don't start till next weekend. But yeah, the first cup competition in England is the Community Shield. Some still class it as a pre-season game, but there was definitely some pre-season elements to this game. But yeah, otherwise it was a classy game between two teams. Great to see what they have going ahead into the season. Man City do look a little bit light with some of the youth players playing, but it'll be interesting to see how this goes and where we will go. Their first game is against Chelsea in the Premier League. But yeah, great to see both teams in action, both obviously getting goals, going on to penalties. So yeah, great to see this in the final action. A lot of the other teams are finishing up their pre-season tours, with sort of Arsenal playing in the Emirates Cup, with Liverpool playing as well today. As a recording this, and Chelsea also playing there. Teams have had mixed pre-seasons, difference going on here and there. But yeah, let's actually talk about some actual football and the league. Just talk about the Championship. We don't always talk about this league, but this is one of the first English competitions to progress, and obviously is now rated the 6th best league in Europe. So probably good to start talking about this as well. So the Championship, Blackburn Rovers got a 4-2 victory over Derby, which was a thrilling game, probably for the last 30 minutes actually. And Sheffield beat Preston North End 2-0. On Saturday, in the Championship, Stoke got a 1-0 victory over Coventry City. West Brom beat QPR 3-1. Watford beat Millwall 3-2. Hull beat drew to Bristol 1-0. The return of Portsmouth to the Championship led them to Ellen Road, where they drew 3-3 with Leeds United. Cardiff lost to Sunderland 2-0. Middlesbrough beat Swansea 1-0. It's not a good day in the office for the Welsh clubs. And Oxford beat Norwich 2-0. And finally, the final game in the Championship saw Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle play Sheffield Wednesday, which they lost 4-0 to. So I will quickly go through the table as well, but some of the highlights from the other leagues. Probably one team that most people follow is Wrexham. So Wrexham did beat Wycombe Wanderers 3-2 in their game. So having a look at the table for the Championship. Sheffield Wednesday do go top with 3 points, and their goal difference, Blackburn Rovers, West Brom, Sunderland, Oxford, Watford and Stoke all on the 3 points, and start off with their wins, and Millwall, Coventry City, Swansea, Derby, QPR, Cardiff, Norwich, Preston and Plymouth Argyle all start on 0 points, getting their first loss of the season. Obviously we have a lot to come on, and obviously there's a lot of football to be played, as there's a lot of games to play there. However, we do have the return of the Premier League next week, and it'd be interesting to see how this goes on Friday. This starts on Friday, with a game between Manchester United and Fulham to look forward to. Ipswich host Liverpool, Arsenal host Wolves, Everton and Brighton play each other, Newcastle and Southampton, Forest versus Bournemouth, West Ham versus Villa, Brentford versus Palace and Chelsea versus City in the big game. And rounding the weekend off is a Leicester versus Tottenham. So definitely interesting to see here. But still a lot to go. Please do let us know who you think will win. My money is going to be on between Arsenal and Man City. That probably is all of the football that have happened. We will get onto some transfers that have happened more recently, some of the big moves, and definitely who to watch out for. If you noticed, the Pitchsider has updated all of the graphics for the podcast. Hopefully they are now in line with all of our social media pages, and that is the best place to keep up to date with all the latest news. Hope you definitely keep an eye out on that. But let's have a look at some of the transfers. We won't go through every single transfer that's happened since we haven't been on the air, but we will talk about some of the big ones that have happened that might shock the league. So one random one that happened, it's confirmed today but happened as of Friday, was Pedro Neto has moved from Wolves to Chelsea for £54 million. Dominic Solanke has moved to Tottenham from Bournemouth for £65 million, which is a massive transfer there. And with Tottenham obviously needing a striker, and they struggled last season. Jean-Claire Tobby has been loaned to West Ham as centre-back, which has been linked with many of top clubs. Obviously, West Ham look a very dangerous club with all of their signings they have made so far. Dani Olmo, if you remember him from the Spanish Euros, he has made his move from RB Leipzig to Barcelona for around a fee of £50 million. Looking out as well, West Ham have also made the signing of Nicolas Fuller from Borussia Dortmund for a £27 million fee, which looks a very good move for him. They also have signed Somerville from Leeds, so they've been very, very busy in the market so far. Smith Rowe has moved from Arsenal to Fulham, which could look to see Smith Rowe rejuvenate his career. Definitely an interesting player to watch out for, and could be a fan favourite in the sort of fantasy leagues. Ismail Sarr has moved from Marseille to Crystal Palace in replacement of Elise, who, if you didn't know, has moved to Bayern Munich. Chelsea also did sign a new keeper in Jurgensen for 27 million from Villarreal. They also have signed Samuel from Atletico Madrid, which has seen Alvarez from Man City move for over £80 million. So it's going to be a big loss to City, see who they can replace him for. But yeah, definitely interesting. Ricardo Calafiori has moved from Bologna to Arsenal for 42 million. So if you watched Arsenal today, you would have seen him make his debut for the club. But yeah, there's been some big transfers. Obviously now, as the season has started to kick on and is getting a lot closer, we'll see a lot more big deals happen. Onana from Everton has moved to Aston Villa for a £50 million fee. Manchester United did obviously sign Lenny Yaro from Lille, a centre-back, who did get injured, so we won't see him for a long time. I think it's roughly around 3 months, for £52 million. Big loss to Man City straight away. Man City also have signed Savinho from Troyes for £30 million, which is one of their clubs. So definitely seeing some talent that go from there. But yeah, obviously keep an eye out on a lot of different transactions happen within. As the season draws, we've got about 19 days left of the transfer window. So we'll go through some of the gossip. And yeah, definitely worth having a look out for. West Ham have also finalised a move for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who moved from Manchester United. Obviously, we mentioned about Pedro Neto. Brentford have signed Fabio Carvalho from Liverpool. They've agreed a £27.5 million deal. Southampton and Leicester were also interested. Carvalho moved to Liverpool in 2020 for a £5 million fee. Manchester United are close to agreeing a new contract for Bruno Fernandes. It is believed to be until 2027. And finally, Napoli is still working on a deal for Romelu Lukaku. A gap in the valuation currently still exists, with Chelsea wanting a 40 million euros, which is equivalent to £36.8 million, whereas Napoli tried to get the deal done for 30 million euros, which is around 25.7 million. Lukaku remains Conte's primary target. Napoli want him in quickly, as Victor Osimhen has made it clear he wants to leave and is totally out. PSG is exploring the deal, but not at the prices that have been quoted. Ideally, Napoli want a permanent sale, or at least a loan that comes with an obligation. Interest from Saudi remains, and it would be Napoli's destination of choice for Osimhen. But as it stands, Osimhen wants to stay in Europe in one of the top 5 leagues, and preferably a club offering Champions League football. The Osimhen saga continues on for the final days. There also was reports of Chelsea getting him on loan, maybe with an obligation to buy if they get into the top 4. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see where this goes. So yeah, that sort of rounds up this week's podcast. Obviously, good to be back with the first podcast of the season for season 4 of the Pitchsider Podcast. It's been going a while now. So yeah, please do like and subscribe. And yeah, we will keep you covered with all of the top news stories coming this week. And with the return of the Premier League, we'll be back next week covering this fully. So thank you for listening. I hope you've had a fantastic summer, and we will look forward to being with you every week throughout the season. So thank you for listening, and goodbye.
For all the latest news, transfers and football articles, check out thepitchsider.com. It's the place to be. Contact us on our socials. Instagram and Twitter is @thepitchsider, or via email is thepitchsider@hotmail.com.